We continue our journey through Girls and Panzer film today, this time taking a look at the first part of the quote-unquote non-battle part of the movie. Though really, while no tank rounds are getting fired here, we are already into Orai's battle for survival. This week's video is brought to you by my upcoming original manga, Amaranth Angels. Cute anime girls, starfighters, and exciting space battles in a fun space adventure. Enjoy Girls and Panzer and other military moe-style anime and manga? Well, you're going to love this too. The first full volume will be out this year, and then I have a pre-order store live for anyone who missed the Kickstarter campaign. Now, onto the video. Unsurprisingly, the parts of Girls and Panzer film that stick the most in the minds of the majority of viewers are the action scenes. After all, it is some of the best action in any piece of visual entertainment ever created. And the battles take up just about 75% of the film's total runtime, which makes the roughly half an hour between the two battles in the film the minority. However, while this part of the movie might not be filled with tank battles and is obviously much quieter for that, there are still battles being fought here, or rather, another protracted one like we see in the opening and we will see later on. It's just that this battle is fought in offices instead of on the battlefield, and with words and other non-physical means rather than tanks. And just like the tank battles in the movie, this battle for Orai's chance to survive can be divided easily into distinct segments. In this video, we'll focus on the first one. Obviously some spoilers ahead, and I'll always advise you to go into watching their film blind for the best possible viewing experience. I know it may get repetitive, but I will keep mentioning that it is a perfect movie, so don't ruin it for yourself. The action, such as it is, begins almost immediately after the conclusion of the opening battle. We get a relatively short period of winding down and relaxation, even a little bit of humor courtesy of Katyusha, before things get serious again, as Anzu is mysteriously called away for reasons unknown. We aren't told what happened right away, but as the girls return to the ship, they notice a suspicious amount of packed-up vehicles leaving, which already signals something is wrong. And that's confirmed when we see that the school is sealed off. Then the hammer drops, with the appearance of everyone's favorite guy to hate, the government guy who has a canon name, but who we prefer to call Tankery. As the only real villain in Girls and Panzer, he really lays on the smug, aloof asshole vibe, between his expressions, the glasses, and just how dismissive he is, and the fact that he seemingly only bothered to come in order to see the shock on everybody's faces, since he then just leaves to let Anzu give the details to everybody. As we know from Season 1, he was the one who promised that Orai wouldn't be closed if they won the last tournament. But, in typical politician fashion, he found himself a loophole to go back on his word. And now Orai is going to be shut down regardless, and the carrier scrapped, effective immediately. Helpless against the overwhelming power of the government and its minions. We immediately see how hard everybody is hit. And there's a range of emotions as the girls try and process the shocking news. A mix of sadness, anger, and despair, as pandemonium threatens to erupt. But that's where Anzu steps in. While Miho is the commander of the Senshiro team, she, as the president of the student council, is the undisputed leader of the students in every other respect. And as hard as this is hitting her too, just look at how she's standing and how long she takes to act. She has a responsibility to see things through. And she's going to do her job as leader, as she shuts down any fanciful and unhelpful talk of revolting, and calmly lets everyone know what they have to do now, namely, packing up and preparing to depart. But at the same time, you can really see just how angry she is, though she knows that this isn't the time to express that or to fight. That comes later. But it is very telling when you see her expression as Momo asks if this is okay, without giving an answer. It's obviously not. But as student council president, she and her two subordinates need to put on strong faces for everybody else. Her determination here also spurs Yuzu to step up and help everyone start to get organized. Of course, another important question raised here by Miho is what will happen to the tanks, which are, by now, as much members of the team as the girls are, and for us, the audience, characters as well. Unfortunately, there's another harsh reality here, as the government is going to take them as well, because of course they are. This is probably where we hit the lowest point of the film for everybody. The school is closed, the carrier is getting emptied, and even their tanks are being taken. Everything they worked for, till now, means nothing, and there isn't a thing they can do about it. Or is there? The next few minutes show us everyone in the process of packing up and preparing to leave, and we get to see how everyone is dealing with the situation. Everyone's feeling down, of course, but some let it get to them less as they enjoy stuff like one last drive on the carrier, or one last game of volleyball in the gym. It also really demonstrates how, despite all these characters being high school girls, that, as silly as they could be at times, they are really all rather mature when approaching these things. It might be worth a separate video at some point, but I think part of what makes Girls and Panzer so great is that the characters have a level of maturity that makes them feel more real and believable. That maturity level helps make this somber portion of the movie hit harder, as we can really feel how hard this is for them. We don't need exaggerated over-the-top emotional outbursts to understand just how much this all means to them. Little moments like Yuzu noting that they won't need invoices and proposal sheets anymore, or low-key ways of showing the characters accepting what's happened while thinking about the future. Though Momo, by contrast, isn't ready to let anything go, insisting on taking every bit of Orai's history. But this is all done when the student council is alone with each other. They understand the need for presenting a stronger front in front of the others, as the authority figures here. In a movie so full of action, these limited opportunities to give all of the Orai girls their own character moments are utilized so well, and each reacts in a way that makes sense given how we know them. But none of this negates that this is a very sad moment, a point of the battle for Orai's future where it seems like there's just no way forward. However, as we hinted at with Anzu's silent defiance earlier, the fight is only just beginning. Naturally, all the Senshiro girls wind up going to visit their tanks. As I mentioned before, they're as much a part of the team as the humans are, and as far as they know, this is goodbye. So they came to spend a little more time with them, to thank the loyal vehicles for their service. From a historical perspective, it's a little reminiscent of some of the things Navy sailors talk about feeling when they leave their ship for the last time, especially if that ship is going to be decommissioned. For the Orai girls, this is also, as far as they know, possibly the last time the entire team, which has bonded over the past months, will be together, so it's a very bittersweet moment. But then, the Americans arrive. Well, the next best thing anyway, as Saunders lands their massive C-5 Super Galaxy airlifter to rescue the tanks. As a side note, it really needs to be said how impressive this is, the fact that they managed to clandestinely land such a massive plane on the carrier at night, seemingly undetected by any major authority figures, on an improvised runway lit with the Morals Committee trucks. It really says a lot just how far the Saunders girls are willing to go to help their friends in a moment like this. And of course, given the theme of the government being the villains here, doing something like this, which is probably extremely illegal, is just perfect. More important, it completely flips the tone, giving the Orai girls hope for the first time since the news broke. Also, Orai gets to pull the most based, "oh no, I lost my guns in a canoeing accident" moment by filing paperwork claiming that they quote-unquote lost their tanks, which lets Saunders take them for safekeeping. This moment is very important in a couple of ways, and it kind of foreshadows the actual battles to come. You have, first, Anzu working tirelessly behind the scenes to find a way out of this mess, and you have the friends Orai made along the way coming to their aid in their time of need. Sure, things are still looking pretty bad overall, with Orai itself no safer, but now their tanks are at least. Tanks are going to be the only thing they can use to fight for Orai later on. So this injects some real much-needed hope for the girls, hope that they can find a way to somehow fight their way out of this despite the long odds. After all, this proves that they can outmaneuver the government in one way, so why not another? More importantly, it reminds both the Orai girls and us, the audience, that Orai isn't alone in this fight, that their friends are in their corner and ready to act, even at risk to themselves, to help. And here, they provide the biggest hype moment of the movie so far.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
That concludes what I consider the first phase of this non-physical battle. Orai was hit very hard and knocked to the ground, but avoided giving up or being totally knocked out, as they managed to land a jab and push themselves back to their feet. There's a long, long way to go to even having a hope of winning this battle, but to climb out of a hole, you have to start somewhere after all. And this was a big step, with more coming in the next part. So next time we'll look at how the second stage of the non-physical fight for Orai plays out, as most of the squad tries to adjust to the new reality, as Anzu makes some MVP moves, and makes a strong case for best girl status. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support me in what I do here, my books and light novels are all available on Amazon. And you can get early access to videos, sneak peeks, and updates on my upcoming military Mori manga and other projects by subscribing over on Patreon. I also offer channel memberships which get you access to monthly members-only watch-along streams, in which we're currently watching Space Battleship Yamato. And as always, if you have any thoughts on this video or there's anything Ghost and Panzer related you'd like me to talk about, definitely share them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them, and while I might not get to respond to every comment, at least not in a timely manner, I can guarantee that I read each of them. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. That's all for now, so until next time.